Hey there, this is Dr. Maria Helt with Osada Natural Health. I am a practicing herbalist and an escaped research scientist, a microbiologist. So I'm going to take a break from the mushroom videos that I've been doing a lot of lately. Don't worry, I'll come back to those. I'm going to talk a little bit more about aromatherapy today and plant volatile oils, essential oils, because they're on my mind. I'm teaching a class coming up on September 11th online that is going to be jumping into aromatherapy. So to get my brain back on track with that and take a break from mushrooms, I'm going to talk a little bit about some aromatherapy myths out there and do a little bit of myth busting. Just as background in terms of my experience playing around with oils, I trained through two different schools of aromatherapy, one more conservative in terms of usage, one a little less conservative in terms of usage. I've gotten training in essential oils all through my herbal training, and my background is strong in chemistry and biochemistry as a former research scientist. So this is kind of where I'm coming from as I talk about essential oils, and also coming from a clinical perspective as an herbalist. So I don't want to get into like a fear-based approach here, like be afraid of essential oils. They can be great when appropriately used and when you're not, using massive quantities on a day-to-day basis. But I do think it's important to understand their usage and have a little bit of understanding of their chemistry so that you are using them safely and can have fun with them and can benefit from them without getting a burn, for instance, from them or an allergy to them, etc. So getting into some myths, I'm just going to cover four of the most common ones that I see online. One, just because oils are, well, let me rephrase that. A lot of folks assume that because essential oils are natural, that they're, of course, safe. Mercury's natural, but that doesn't mean it's safe. Arsenic's natural, but that doesn't mean it's safe. So just because oils are natural and they come from things like plants does not mean that they are inherently safe. They can be used safely. There are some oils, though, that are inherently toxic or are skin irritants or are mucous membrane irritants. Even oils that are generally considered safe are problematic potentially when overused. So oils can be fun, oils can be helpful, but you need to pay attention to how you're using them. Any oil, when improperly used, can become toxic, yeah? And so getting in more into some myths, another common one that I see, which is more of a marketing thing, is the grading of oils as therapeutic grade or medical grade. These labels have no meaning, despite what you'll see online. There is no overarching regulatory agency, either nationally or internationally, that grades oils into therapeutic or medical grade or, what have you. So there is no overarching organization that are plunking them into these categories. So those are largely used as marketing terms. Now you should be paying attention to the quality of the oils that you are buying. It's a good idea to support organic production of oils and to learn how to tell if your oils may be diluted with other things. So doing your research and becoming educated on them. But again, these labels themselves aren't very helpful for you. Things that do have meaning, like I said, are organically grown. That has meaning. 100% essential oil has meaning. There are a lot of natural products out there, cosmetic products and such, that will say things like contains pure essential oils, but if you look at the ingredient list, you'll see other things listed like fragrance oil or perfume. Those might have real essential oils in them, but they also have synthetics, often petrochemical based chemicals in them. So if you're buying a little brown bottle and it says 100% essential oil in it, that should have meaning. It's not a guarantee, but that should have meaning. So another common practice that I'm seeing out there, or this myth, is that drinking oils and water every day is a good idea. It's absolutely not. Essential oils are not vitamins. They're very purified and highly concentrated plant chemicals. When you look at the average essential oil content in a plant, it's often a fraction of a percent, and then you take that essential oil and purify it out and stick it in a bottle, it's now 50 or 100 times more concentrated than that oil you would get when having a cup of tea, for instance, or using a tincture of an aromatic plant. So much stronger than a plant and lacking the other medicinal qualities that are found in aromatic plants. So also keep in mind that oils are not water soluble. So when you are taking essential oils into your body in a glass of water, they're floating on top and they're going to stick to the first mucous membrane that they encounter, often in the mouth, perhaps further down in the digestive tract, and really piss that mucous membrane off if this is something you're doing repeatedly. And you might be saying, well, I do this every day and it doesn't hurt. I don't notice any irritation. Well, you often don't notice any pain until there is substantial erosion of a particular membrane in the body. So essential oils are used orally by trained clinical aromatherapists. They're not given in water, they're given in more appropriate delivery vehicles for a short period of time for an acute issue. They're not vitamins, they're not used long term that way. Not a good idea to ingest them unless you are working with somebody who is a trained aromatherapist. That does not mean sales rep. Some sales reps may have gone through some kind of certificate program or what have you, but being a sales rep does not mean somebody is actually appropriately trained to be telling you to use your oils orally. So just be cautious there. The highest risk in terms of an adverse reaction to essential oils is indeed through oral ingestion. Now, daily we are commonly ingesting oils. You know, toothpaste is a very common source of essential oils. Many foods out there that are more processed foods might have essential oils in them. They're more and more being used as food preservatives, even in some of the packaging that's being developed. And that, that's fine, but that's a different mode than, say, drinking oil in your water. So somebody out there watching this might be saying, well, what about my lemon oil that I drink in my water daily for liver health? Again, lemon is a plant, a fruit that has many health benefits, including for the liver, and there are some benefits based on the research for those essential oils for the liver. But don't forget that essential oils, in terms of lemon, they're a small component of all of the other medicinal and health promoting components of lemon. That lemon contains vitamins and antioxidants and minerals and acids and such that are also beneficial for the liver, and you're missing all of those things if you're just doing purified essential oil, aside from the fact that lemon essential oil is a skin and mucous membrane irritant. Now, cooking with oils is great and can be really fun, and the dose you're getting is self-limiting in that regard, because if you're overdosing with the oil in your cooking, you'll taste it. It'll be nasty tasting, and that can be a really fun way to use your oils orally. And just to be clear, there is appropriate usage internally, but it really needs to be done under the supervision of somebody who's very well trained in the use of these oils, in their chemistry, on proper dosing, on proper delivery mode, because again, this is the riskiest way to use oils, in terms of setting yourself up for a potential adverse effect. And, as an herbalist and somebody who's coming from a chemistry background, just use the plant. I know a lot of people that like to use oregano essential oil orally for, digestive tract issues and such. Just use a tincture, use an extract. It's plenty strong. Sure, the oil might knock out whatever's going on, but it will also do the same in a much less concentrated form in terms of a tea or a liquid extract and such. And it's a lot less expensive to do it that way, and a lot less strain, environmentally speaking, to do it that way. Oils take a lot to produce. Anyway, coming down to another myth is that using undiluted oils on the skin is fine. Nope. Maybe every once in a while it might be fine. You might get away with this. I have spilled some oils on my hands accidentally before, and my liver didn't explode. But most adverse effects that are out there that are reported are from this practice. Now, again, I just said the highest risk is from oral usage, but because so many more people are using these oils on their skin, that's where most adverse effects are being reported. And so a common effect is allergic contact dermatitis. So your skin is really pissed off. The lesions can be really gross and disturbing looking when you look up some of these effects online. And the allergic part means that your immune system is recognizing a component or components from that oil. So this can be a lifelong sensitivity that you've now set yourself up for. And I have a good friend of mine, as an example, who was using neat tea tree oil, undiluted tea tree oil, on their feet for chronic athlete's foot. This was indeed an athlete, and had wound up having a pretty bad skin reaction to the oil and can't even go near tea tree oil or other oils that share its chemistry without having a reaction. There is irritant contact dermatitis, where rather than the immune system getting involved, it's simply a chemical burn. And there can be blistering and scarring and a lot of pain associated with this. Many oils are inherent skin and mucous membrane irritants, a lot of citrus oils, for instance, but not limited to those. Other reports or other adverse effects that have come from topical usage of oil is anaphylaxis, so a scary systemic allergic reaction to the oil. And again, this does not mean you can't use essential oils topically. I do. I make creams and lotions and skin oils out of diluted essential oils. And a great place you can go look is the Tisrin Institute online. That'll tell you safe dilutions and effective dilutions to use for skin. There are lots of other sources of that information online. So just dilute your oils. You don't need to use them pure to get the benefits. They're very strong, and you'll save yourself a lot of money as well by diluting them. And this is the same for bathing, by the way. Bathing with oils can be great, but you want to make sure that they are first mixed with some kind of a carrier that disperses them in the bathtub, whether you're maybe making a bath salt out of them or maybe diluting them in some olive oil and putting them in the bath. What you don't want to do is put your drops of straight essential oil right into the bath and then get in, because guess what's going to happen? Those droplets, which aren't dispersed in the bath, are going to stick right to you. And I kind of stupidly did this to myself pretty recently, actually. I was feeling lazy. I wanted to do an aroma bath. I was stressed out. So I took my oil and I squeezed maybe 3 drops into the bath, and I kind of went like this to stir it around and then got in the bath, and I know better. And I wound up having a big patch of irritation on my leg, and it hurt. So I did it to myself. If I just took the extra step to mix it with some salts or put it in a carrier oil, like, again, sesame or olive oil or something, I'd have been fine. But self-inflicted here. And also a common thing that I hear from friends and such is that they use a drop of, say, lavender oil on the soles of their baby's feet to calm them. No, don't do that. Sure, it's calming, but so will diluting that oil out be calming, and putting it in something like olive oil. You know, an infant, their liver is still developing. They're still very sensitive. Their skin is sensitive. You should be doing a 0.1 to maybe 0.2% dilution of oils if you're going to use them at all. For young infants, I think, herbal infused oils might be a better way to go. Maybe 0.25% to 0.5% for up to a 2-year-old little tyke. It will still be effective for calming or whatever you're trying to do with that, but now you're reducing the risk. I am aware of people that have actually burned the skin on their babies because they didn't know about this, and their person advising them had them putting straight oils on their infant. So don't do that. I know you might say, well, I've been doing this and it's been fine. Do you know it's been fine? Do you know that it's been okay on their liver? For instance, not worth it. Just dilute it. And like I keep saying, you'll save yourself some money as well. Now, as I've said, a lot of the adverse reactions, or most of the adverse reactions reported for oils, are based on skin burns. And if you want to look up real-world adverse reactions, you can go to the Tisrin Institute's adverse reaction database, where they're starting to collect these things and do some research into the cases. But Many of the most common oils you'll see there and elsewhere in terms of skin reactivity are things like cinnamon and clove, probably not surprising, right? Tea tree, peppermint, oregano, but also we're seeing more and more reactions to things like lavender or vetiver, frankincense, helichrysum, which is actually thought of as a great skin oil when diluted. And part of the reason for these oils showing up over and over again, at least some part of this might be their popularity, right? But some of these we know are irritants. And a lot of these not all of them, but a lot of these case reports are in folks that use them pure, undiluted on the skin. And, some of the reactions are pretty severe in terms of what happens to the skin. So just, be careful. Photodermatitis is another reaction that can happen with topical use, often due to chemicals known as furocoumarins. Citrus oils are a common source of this, especially if they are pressed rather than distilled. Sandalwood, Australian sandalwood, has been reported to cause this, even at a 2% dilution, so where the oil was properly diluted. Another version of sandalwood used at 3% dilution, Hawaiian, same thing. So again, you can use essential oils on skin. I'm not trying to scare you away from that here, but just dilute them. There are plenty of tables available online that tell you a dilution to use based on what you want to do. Like, is this a full-on body massage oil? You're going to use less essential oil in that product. Are you working with just a small patch on your skin? There's something going on there, then you can use a more concentrated dilution of the oil. But straight, especially over and over again, not a great idea. So there you are, some myths to watch out for that are very common and becoming more common online, that are a no to all of these. 1, because they're natural, they're safe. 2, that therapeutic grade means anything. 3, that regularly ingesting oils is a good thing. And 4, putting them undiluted on the skin is a good thing. Nope for all of them. So there you go.